What's up, everybody? My name is Alex. I am your host here on the Swole Friends podcast, and today I am so excited to welcome Jessie Hilgenberg. Today here we're going to be talking about how she is not only a pioneer in the fitness world, but one of the most inspirational and influential leaders specifically in the fitness world for women. She's one of the founders of kind of how we know it today, and she's unlocked a lot of the doors for us as women. She's also the sole owner and founder of Jessie's Girls. She transforms lives on the daily. She empowers women to step into their ultimate and radiant selves. She's also an IFBB figure pro. Dang. On top of that, Jessie is also a mother to two beautiful little children. And today we're going to talk about just how she leads and inspires and how she's cultivated her personal brand. Jessie, welcome to the show. How are you?
Thank you, Alex. Oh, I'm so great and very, very happy to be here. Thank you so much for having me. This is going to be fun.
Oh my gosh, it's going to be a blast. What is a typical day look like for you? I mean, we kind of start there. What does Tuesday look like for Jessie?
Well, it starts deep in mom life. I've got two little girls, almost 8 and 5. And so kindergarten and second grade. And I mean, I'm just doing my mom thing in the morning, pancakes, rush to finish your homework that we ignored all week long, packing lunches, getting them dressed. You know, I'm still in the stage of motherhood where I'm alive and helping them learn how to feed themselves and dress themselves and things like that. So the morning is always chaotic. Drop them off at school, and I head right in here in downtown Reno to Jessie's Girls headquarters and get going on, changing the world one woman at a time.
Oh, I love that. And Reno, we're based here in Reno as well.
Yeah.
So that's pretty crazy. I'm like choking. So
okay.
Oh man.
You good?
The beauty of alive. Okay. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen. I apologize for that.
He's okay.
Okay, so we're good. I think it's like all the leaves blowing around. I mean, that's kind of like where my allergy season pops up. But
yeah, it's pretty crazy out there.
So where were you before you came to Reno or back to Reno? You started in Reno, right?
Yeah. So I'm born and raised here. Multiple generations of my family is all here. And in late 2012, early 2013, before I had kids or anything, my husband and I sold our Anytime Fitness businesses. So we used to own 3 Anytime Fitness franchises in Northern Nevada. We sold them and, we were young and kid-free and decided to take off and go check out Phoenix, Arizona. And accidentally stayed there for like 8.5 years and made babies and started our life there. So we didn't really mean to do that. It was just kind of like, we sold our businesses and let's go check out Phoenix. My fitness career was just starting. And so Phoenix was a really, really neat city to do that in. Really easy to travel from Phoenix, really easy to just awesome gyms, more of like a small fish in a big pond situation, which I thrive in instead of like a big fish in a small pond, like Reno can be sometimes, especially back then. So we took off to Phoenix, Arizona, and in 2020, we finally had the opportunity to move back home. And so we sold our house there and told the kids we were leaving before they were too mad at us with getting older and stuff. They were in like kindergarten, and earlier then. So we're like, we got to do this now. And so we moved back and we actually live in Verdi, which is really beautiful. Nice. out in the mountains.
Yeah, that's a really nice area. And that's wonderful. How did you get started with Anytime Fitness? I mean, I think people know you just kind of as like the icon, right? And that's kind of how I framed it up in the beginning, was like, you are an icon, you are a fitness like pioneer, but at the same time, everyone starts somewhere. A journey of 1,000 steps starts with one step, right? Yes. And so how did you get kind of your start in the fitness industry? Did you, right away just get into owning a business? Were you like, I always want to own a gym, or did that kind of fall into place? Or
I really kind of owe all of that, all of those accidental steps for me, because I did not mean to be a fitness icon or professional in any sense of the word.
You're like,
Uh,
I'm just me.
I went to school for graphic design. I have a degree in graphic design. I was like on the advertising agency track, graphic designer. I was all behind the scenes, behind the behind the camera, behind the laptop. That's where I thrived and lived, was never in front of the camera, like never anything like that. Art directing, photo shoots, like that was my jam. And I met my husband, Alex, and he actually, at the time that we met, owned One Anytime Fitness. So he was the fitness guy,
Mhm.
and he was competing in the NPC, which is the National Physique Committee, as a heavyweight bodybuilder, amateur. So, I mean, he was all fitness. I was like nerdy little art chick. And and he, I mean, he was like, "You want to go to the gym?" And I was like, "Well,
What's the
actually,
gym?
yeah." Well, I knew what the gym was, and I'm sure we'll get into it a little bit, but um I have a athletic and fit background, and a athletic and fit family and stuff. So all of that stuff kind of existed. I had just never been into it, I guess. Um,
Mhm.
and yeah, so he was like, "Let's go to the gym." And I wanted to impress this cute new guy, so I'd go work out with him and stuff. And it just I mean, it really just became a passion. Really, what the big thing was for me, though, is I went to one of his bodybuilding shows, and I didn't know that world at all. And it
Wow.
was one of the local Reno shows back in 2008, maybe. And
Mhm.
back then, in the whole bodybuilding world, there was no, I mean, there are so many divisions now. I
Oh,
can't even keep track. But back then, it was men's bodybuilding, women's bodybuilding, and women's figure.
yeah.
And what I didn't know existed was that figure division. So I was just sitting in the audience with his buddies, and probably had a beer and a hot dog or something, and watched Alex come out. Of course, he looked great. Uh, but then the figure girls started coming out, and I was just like, "Whoa, whoa, 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 whoa! I can do that!" Like, I love that. I can build that. I'm not that far away from that. I can do this. So I had to figure out how to walk in sparkly stripper shoes, but that's about it. So that began my journey of, okay, now instead of just going to the gym and being random and lifting weights and doing some pull-ups or whatever, I'm going to build a program and actually try to change, try to grow in certain areas, back, glutes, whatever, all the little pieces that need to be there for a figure competition physique. And so I worked my way toward that. Definitely a bumpy road with nutrition, trying to, that's, everybody can have a great workout and build muscle.
Mhm.
But what separates those people from bodybuilders on stage is really the nutrition aspect of it and the diet. So that was the hardest part of the road as a beginner to
Mhm.
figure out. But yeah, I started competing because of Alex. And so that was what started this whole entire thing.
Would you say that are you like a hard gainer? Like, was it hard for you to gain muscle? Was it hard for you to like be in the gym, or was it more so like you're saying, like the nutrition and the diligence, and like being consistent with that and finding the right person to direct you in that manner?
So, a few different things here. One, it still is and was extremely hard for me to be in the gym. You said those words, so I wanted to address that. Um,
Mhm.
I had and still deal with, to this day, really severe gym anxiety. Um,
Okay.
and so for me to be in the gym, I mean, I knew what to do. I loved the feeling of lifting weights. I loved working out. I loved the before, during, after of it. I loved that process, but I really struggled with just getting to and being in the gym. Um, and I had to, I mean, I work on it to this day, but I really had to work on it back then.
Mhm.
Um, in terms of being a hard gainer or not, the reason I started competing is I wasn't even in fitness, and I saw those figure girls come out on stage, and I'm just like, I kind of already have that going on. So I've got the muscle for it. I was
Mhm.
built for it. And it was easy for me to build muscle, and it still is to this day.
Mhm.
But like I said, you can go in and you can, I can bodybuild in the gym and grow and maintain my muscle and stuff. But it's kind of that next level programming really, and setting up your workouts and your, to flow through 12 weeks or more of progressive overload to actually grow and change, the shape of your physique and your body composition for this stage. You have to kind of take it to that next level instead of just going there and working out. You have to program it.
Totally. And I think that the idea of intentionally attacking, or not even attacking, just intentionally having a plan when you go in the gym, I think is something that people overlook a lot.
Definitely.
Probably something you solve for with Jessie's girls, and like really helping to direct people, don't just cherry pick workouts. Don't just, it's okay if that's your start, if that's okay, if that's going to be the motivator to get you in the gym. But having that plan to follow in that direction is really important. And it kind of can take this like, aha, like I'm tired of ramming my head in the wall type. Maybe I should do something different until we do something different.
Well, you arrive at the gym at the beginning of your journey and you do get those results, even being random. If you go from, not having a fitness routine to having one, and then what happens is 4 or 6 weeks later, you stop that high starts to kind of level out, and you do have to start initiating more programming if you love it and want to continue building and changing.
Totally. Can we touch in a little bit more on gym anxiety?
Yes.
Tell me a little bit, for anyone who doesn't know, just kind of what it is, where does it come from, and how does it kind of manifest itself maybe in general, or like even for you personally?
Yeah. I don't know where it comes from or why I have it. But it's interesting because if you knew me growing up, or if you knew me in high school or college, I mean, I was the life of the party, like zero worries. Never cared one bit about what anybody thought. It was a beautiful time. I don't know where the shift happened. And maybe it's because, yeah, gosh, it's such a deep, great question because, like I said, I mean, I still have it and I still battle it. So I don't quite know where it begins, or what causes it, but it stops me from going to the gym. So once I get to the gym, oh man, like just so happy that I am there. So pumped that I've completed my workout. I feel so great. But me getting up and going to the gym, if it's my own gym in my garage or if it's my own gym right here in Jessie's girls headquarters, zero issues. But just me transitioning from being at home, being like, get up, take your pre-workout, go to the gym, getting to that point where I actually get in the car and drive there and park and walk in. It's not it's not horrible, but it's definitely hard. I can think of a million other things to do besides that, just to avoid that feeling. I do get there, I get in my car and I go to the gym. And then the second part is actually being in the gym. And if I really try to tap into what I feel like when I'm there, it's really, I'm sure it comes from a background of people pleasing and perfectionism, I think. So I'm so worried that I'm not doing it right or not setting up the machine right. That's the perfectionism in me. What are they going to think if I, walk up to a squat rack and set the J hooks in and they're off and the barbell's this way, and it's like I just want to like put my hoodie on and just roll on out of there and never come back. Like, but nobody's watching me, and even if I did see somebody do that, I would walk over and help them. So I try to think of those things, like nobody cares about what I'm doing as much as I do. That's for sure.
Yeah.
And then the people pleasing part, which is like, I'm not going to use that machine, even though, that's really what's next in my workout. I saw that guy near it over there, so I don't want to bug him. I don't want to say anything to him or mess up his workout. So I'll just either not do it or find something else to do. I mean, that's just like who I am in the gym, and it sucks.
Yeah, it's interesting because you're like, oh, I need to do bench next, and then incline bench, and then you're just like, I didn't do bench because there are people over there, or you don't want to get in the way.
I feel like I don't belong in there. Like, especially if there's the gym that I go into in Reno is just so amazingly motivating, and there's so many strong people in there. And I'm not a power lifter. I don't do CrossFit. I don't necessarily think I'm crazy strong or can lift a ton of weight. So I feel like I need to be like the people in the room in order to use the equipment in the room. So I just always kind of fall back to my old habits of like, well, just go do the step mill, or just go use the machines over there or something, when I really, really want to and belong there and deserve to, and who gives a shit if I'm there or not? Like, I get to do it too. I just wish it was easier for me to get there in my head.
Well, that's a pretty big deal coming from, I think, someone like you know what I mean, who has cultivated a social media following or website, or has been in the public eye for a really long time, excuse me, in the fitness space. And it's to hear you say, I get uncomfortable. I get unsure of myself. I'm not this super confident person all the time.
Yeah.
And it really puts like a human aspect to it. Cause like, probably people out there listening or watching, my own self, I mean, we all kind of have those feelings. We're all still humans at the end of the day. Just because you progress in your profession or you get better at doing things doesn't mean that like you still have those old habits or ways of thinking of things. And so that's where I think that you do a really good job keeping things real with people and really relating people. Like with Jessie's Girls, you guys, this company is it's a community for women just like you. I mean, that sounds, kind of interesting, but it's like literally like I'm talking to you, the person listening to it. And she does the same thing with Jessie's Girls. You become a part of like a bigger experience where you say like, how do I take up space? And how do I take up space in a way where like, even if I'm not confident going to the gym, maybe like there is this little glimmer of confidence throughout the workout where I'm like, yeah, I'm going to come back and do it again. Yeah. Right.
Well, and it's really how Jessie's Girls started was I created something that I needed. Right. Okay. I mean, while I was training and building and working my way through and up the NPC and IFBB bodybuilding stages, I would want to learn how to squat. And so I didn't have anybody around, and I'm not going to ask that big grunting dude over there. And I'm not going to ask my husband. I'm not going to listen to him. And I mean, there wasn't a resource. And so I would get online and I would Google it, and sure, I could learn how to squat, but it was from, a really strong man or a woman dressed in really sexy clothes or something. And maybe their information was correct, but I'm like, is this all there is to find? Like, every woman out there that wants to know how to deadlift or do a pull-up properly or how to squat, is this really all we have access to? And so it was like 2008 or 9 or something. I just started making videos, putting them on YouTube, and that's really how it all started. Is I just wanted women to be able to, and it's so different now. It's such an amazing space now, the internet and women's fitness. And I know we're going to talk about that stuff too, but it really, at least in the bodybuilding world, in bodybuilding fitness competitions, just wanting to lift and build your body as a woman, it was really hard to find resources from women you trusted and were equal to, and that you felt safe learning information from. And
yeah. So I guess before we kind of get into, where did your athletic journey start? Mm-hmm. I want to stay on like the idea of like so you're talking about 2008, 2009, 2010, right? Okay. So that's like 12 years ago. Social media was not anywhere near what it is now, right? Yep. And so you think about, Jessie going into the gym and having like gym anxiety. Well, what about the girls now, right? Yep. Especially too, like with the idea that like you have to have the perfect fit, and you got to have the $3,000 camera, and you got to be able to know exactly what you're doing and have the big quads. And like, how do you think that landscape has changed? And how do you think that has like improved the community? And how do you also feel like it's taken away? And what would you like to like kind of see from that?
Um, Gosh, just thinking like right off the cuff. I mean, to me, what pops in my head is that it's twofold. I think it's made it worse on one side,
Mhm.
um, by that pressure to have the perfect matching gym set on and to have the beautiful long hair and to look great at the gym and to make sure you're filming it and to make sure that you're posting it to Instagram and all of those things. But also, um, on the other hand, it's made fitness so accessible for everybody.
Mhm.
You know, when I first started, Alex, I mean, you were nobody in fitness, in at least in my realm, in the bodybuilding realm and the fitness magazines and stuff, unless you were shredded. I mean, you were shredded, you had a beautiful six pack. I mean, that's just how it went. So if you didn't look like that, um, you didn't feel empowered at the gym, you didn't feel strong, you didn't feel like you belonged. And I go to the gym now, and even though I might be internally struggling, I am so pumped to see young women in their awesome matching sets with each other dancing and spotting each other on bench press. I mean, oh god, it's so beautiful. And they're posting it to Instagram and filming stories in between, and they're having fun. And that is so cool. And it would have helped me back then, but then you have, the body image thing and the crop tops. And I don't know, like, it's just kind of hard. All of it's hard.
Mhm. Yeah,
Mhm.
but it's also kind of like, what do you look at, right? Like, where's your values? How do you not get so lost in that?
Yeah.
That also kind of brings up, though, the idea of like misinformation on the
Mhm.
internet, right? And you being like one of those people who are like, nope, here's how to do it correctly. I've been doing this like for a while. Pay attention, do it
Yeah.
this way. What are kind of your thoughts on the misinformation out there, with the increase in access to things, right? So go ahead.
Oh gosh, I just have, so many thoughts of
Run with it.
where you just left off.
Go, go,
It
go.
is scary because anyone, with a awesome bod and a cute outfit can be on Instagram or TikTok or whatever it is that they're doing and give fitness tips and have a huge fitness following and or coach people to do anything. And I think all of that's fine, as long as the consumer of that information and as the consumer looking for a fitness coach or a fitness program. I think you just have to do your homework. Look up that person. Look up if what they've studied and how long they've been around and what they've professionally accomplished and what their background is. And I mean, like I said, anybody can do a great workout, right? So you can open up the gram and find your cool workout from the girls you love following and do those workouts. Um, they're fine. But if you want to continue growing in size or strength or build a certain way, you've got to shift at some point and find somebody that knows how to build you, a full program and that will work for life, that's sustainable, that you can keep doing diet and exercise,
Mhm.
got to be able
Absolutely.
to
Yeah.
carry it and change.
Well, it goes back to that intentionality, right? Like if you can do that and get away with it for a while, right? Like you can, kind of do 50% of your nutrition or 50% of your workouts and be okay. But then it's like, well, when you get tired of not seeing results, that's when you got to find a plan, right? And that's kind of like the way you kind of approach it is very similar to the way we approach it with supplements. It's like we're not always the first chosen blueberry razzmatazz go-go juice like brand. And I'm gonna shoot to the moon today. But we're the brand that when it's like, okay, when you're ready to get serious, like really dig into strength, endurance, recovery, like you want to see those performance pillars improve, that's where the products come in. That's where a program comes in. That's where a coach comes in.
Mhm.
And that's why those resources are there. And I don't know, you and I could talk till we're blue in the face about
Yeah,
that.
and I agree with you so much there. I mean,
Mhm.
before Instagram, before social media, I mean, I remember in 2007 just getting my protein at Costco and there was no information, and not that that's bad, but now we have so much more access to, and companies put so much more emphasis, thank goodness, on, the ingredients and where they're sourced from and why they're great, the education behind it. Gosh, that makes me just so happy, all of that stuff. So you get to choose what you want, just like you choose who you follow or you choose what fitness program you do. You also get to choose, the supplements that you take and why. And most of it is because of the ingredients and the labeling and the morals of the company behind it.
Totally. I absolutely agree. As far as like, okay, so you mentioned that you come from like kind of a fitness family or a fit background. Talk to me more about that. What was little Jessie like?
I, just typical played sports as a kid. Really was really into softball. I was a catcher for 7 years. That's why my knees are crap.
Is that why your squat is good or
yeah, right. I got a great squat, but crappy shoulders and crappy knees because of it.
Who needs those? Nobody needs those.
I'm a black belt in Taekwondo.
Oh,
Right now my 2 daughters just started getting into karate, so it's like makes me so happy. I don't know if they'll like it as much as I did and go all the way to a black belt, but yeah, so I just played sports. In middle school, I ran track or played basketball. I was just always active, but it was really my dad. I mean, my dad was the one who always had gym equipment in the house, always had a gym membership. He played handball, he golfed, he played or he was a runner, he did marathons. He would wake me up in high school and make us go for morning runs with them, or if we were on vacation we'd go on a run with them. And so that seed was always planted, and I witnessed it growing up. And while I didn't know anything about nutrition and balance and stuff, it's so funny looking back. Like every night my mom cooked. My parents had a really traditional marriage. My mom was a stay-at-home mom to me and my 2 other siblings, and my dad ran a business and worked. But I mean, every night there was like a huge chicken breast and like potatoes and a veggie or something on a plate. And it was like that every single night. I mean, that's like all I knew. And it's not like we didn't splurge or go out to dinner or have dessert or anything, but that was just like the normal dinner was my mom cooking this fabulous meal. And it was, looking back, it was so balanced. I'm like, wow, good job, you guys. Like, but it's because that's what my dad ate and valued, and it powered his, lifelong fitness passion and stuff like that. And so they just ate and exercised accordingly. And it was so normal. Like nobody was over the top. Nobody was competing. Like nobody was put that food down. Nothing. It was just really balanced.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and it takes you a while to realize like that's not exactly normal. I don't really know what normal is, but I would say it's just not as common.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like I kind of grew up similarly, right? Especially with access to foods or meals and creating that kind of thing is why we also added in like the nutrition side of things, which is also probably how you carry this stuff into your programming, because you're like, oh, not a lot of people were taught this way.
Yeah.
Not a lot of people know how to do this or know how to cook this type of meal or how to make chicken and a vegetable taste good. Yeah. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like such kind of simple concept, but it's kind of that beauty of taking what you've learned and also kind of that idea too. I'm not a mom. I can't relate to it. I'm not going to try, but probably on your side of things is like the kids are just sponges. Right. And one of the things we teach in coaching is that you're the first line of their trust. So if you're eating something and you're like, num, 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 and then they're like, well, what's num, num, num? And they're like, I want to know. Yeah. And you're like, try this. Yeah.
It's so important. And we do that at home too, or it might be, it's very simple stuff at my house. We're so busy. So it's often like chicken nuggets, mac and cheese, and like, some broccoli with butter on it or something. And they love that stuff. That's what they've been eating. And if they eat all of their mac and cheese and a couple bites of broccoli, and then they're like, like, I'm done. I'm full, mom, or I'm full, dad. we say you have to at least have, you know, a few bites of your nuggies because that's the protein part of your meal. And they'll be like, but I ate my mac and cheese. And we'll be like, but that's not your protein. Like, you got to have protein. How do you think mommy and daddy have these big muscles? And so it's playful and zero pressure. And but just those little nuggets of information over time, I think in a very healthy, normal, you know, manner, it just, I mean, it'll change your life as an adult.
Yeah, absolutely. You say you're really busy. How do you prioritize your passions? How have you, you know, through tumultuous times or when your plate is extremely overloaded, how have you continued to have like that confidence within yourself? How have you, you know, been able to have that time block separated so that you have a balance while you're pursuing your passions and your dreams?
Oh gosh, it's so hard. Well, one thing I did was I
Oh,
made my passion, I made my passion my career. So that helped a lot.
okay.
Um, I ditched graphic design years ago and was like, I think I can, I'm passionate about fitness. I think I could make a business out of this.
Mhm.
So I combined those two, which was huge. And then, you know, mom life is interesting. It's so busy right now, and I think it just stays like that. Like, once I'm out of the, you know, I despise bedtime, right? My kids are like, one more book, and I've got two of them fighting over who I'm reading to, and all I want to do is just go to bed. And once that stage is over, then it's like, you know, like sports and boyfriends or something, you know, it's just always going to be something. So I think it's being a mom is always just going to be a wild ride. But what I notice is I just like, you unlock this like next level of yourself that you didn't know you really had. Because if you would have asked me, you know, 9, 10 years ago before I had kids, I would have been like, there is no way that I'm doing that if I had this business at the time. There is no way that that is fitting into my life. But as a parent, you really do, like, it just unlocks this next level of like getting shit done and making it all work. And it's not pretty. I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, balance, so perfect. No, it's a shit show. It really is. And I do my best. And some things that I've adopted this year to try to get my balance back is I hired a personal trainer because I'm like, dude, I am not going to the gym. I'm putting myself last. I am working all day, then rushing to pick up the kids. I'm never going to be, I'm not interested in being a mom that like misses games or doesn't pick up my kids or doesn't, you know, watch my kids sports or just, you know, I just want to be there for all of it. I want to be so there for all of it.
Yeah.
And so oftentimes that means that I don't get my own workout in or stuff like that. And so that is a huge change that happened to me this year was I hired my own personal trainer and was just like, just tell me what to do and make me do it.
And
And of
that's
course, I had to find somebody that really aligned with my style of working out and what I like to do. And, you know, half the time I'm telling him what I want to do and he's just supporting me through it.
how
But
about
it's super important. I mean, and it doesn't have to be a personal trainer. It can be a girlfriend that you meet at the gym for accountability, just anything like that. I think those things are so, so important because owning a business and being a mom of two young kids and trying to, you know, focus on my marriage and focus on me and continue growing and enjoying my life. And I mean, it's just doesn't all fit into a day or a week or a month or a year, you know? So you gotta find little cheats where you can, whether it's a motivational partner or meal delivery or whatever, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. And a lot of people would be like, oh, well, those are shortcuts. Oh, well, you're not doing it. Like, I don't know. They kind of have like this perception, right? Of, oh, well, she's a trainer. Why would she have a coach? Like, and it's like, it's okay to ask for help. Everyone needs
Oh
these
my
things.
gosh.
You're
Yeah.
not, nobody's above them. You know what I mean? It's not a bad thing if you have to ask for help in fitness or in life or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, and mine is just getting my butt to the gym, you know, because I think I've said it already 5 times. Like, it's it's the first thing to go for me when something in my day has to go. I'm like, "Ugh, I'll just skip my workout. I'm fine. Muscles are still there. Everything's going to be okay. I'll skip that." But that leads to another skip and another skip. And me, all of a sudden my own workouts aren't a priority anymore. So, do I think I'll always have a trainer? Probably not, but it's certainly helping right now, keeping my consistency.
Totally.
Yeah.
Becoming a mom. So being an image for fitness, and having the body and having the life and going through pregnancy.
Yeah.
Was it hard for you? Was it something that you were just like, nope, this is a natural thing, I'm going to do it? Was there like any body image issues associated with that? Were you fearful when you started or were thinking about getting pregnant? I think that's kind of a vulnerable, kind of personal question, right? But I think like a lot of people are kind of wrapped up in that who may not necessarily have that like super motherly thing. They're like a little selfish with themselves, and that's okay. But how did you take care of your body? How did you take care of your mind in that image of the public?
So I have 2 kids. My oldest was born in 2014, and my youngest was born in 2017. 2 totally different experiences for me, and a lot of it has to do with the fitness industry and social media and things like that in terms of body image and being a mom and being pregnant as a fitness person, right? Professional or fitness personality. So when Sammy, my 8-year-old, when I found out I was pregnant with her, it was 2013, 2014. And
Uh-oh. Hold on. Jessie, are you still there? Hold on, everybody. Got a little technical issue. Oh, Jessie.
There you're back. I can hear you now.
Okay.
Okay. I don't know what happened. I just know you froze and then I froze. I'm like,
No.
in 2014 is when early 2014 is when I found out I was pregnant with my first daughter. And this is like, Instagram came out in like late 2013. Like nobody even knew it was really going to be a thing back then when I found out I was pregnant. Social media just wasn't very big. So, and I had just gotten a full sponsorship and joined teambodybuilding.com, which was like at the time like the top of the top in terms of a sponsorship and a partnership, and it was just a very elite team to be a part of.
I like to connect you really quick because so when I was in college was like 13, 14, and I was like, oh, Jessie dropped this new program. I would follow these programs, and I was like, look at this chick with her pixie cut. She's so cute.
Oh, that's amazing.
My little personal interjection there, but
I love that.
It was a really big deal. I mean, anyone who doesn't know her, who would like maybe not into bodybuilding.com, like that's like the top of the top. You were plastered on the front page of bodybuilding.com, and it was like, oh shit, she made it. Like
that was such a neat time, especially because they don't do that anymore. The same people don't even own that company anymore. They don't have team. I don't know. There is definitely not the same, whatever is going on now, but, it was epic back then. And, like you made it. And I signed with them in 2013. And then I found out I was pregnant like a few months later. And I was crying. I was bawling. I mean, I was happy to be pregnant. I wanted to be pregnant, but what I didn't realize was how much I thought that my fitness career was over. So that is what I believed back then. And that is, I don't know if that's what was, nobody ever said, don't get pregnant and you won't do anything. But I mean, I was a IFBB pro, actively competing on the pro stage, just signed with bodybuilding.com. I mean, that was like at the time the tippity top for me. And then I was pregnant, and it was, you just kind of felt like, well, you're done. And then you don't know what your body's going to do during. You don't know what your body, especially your first pregnancy, you don't know what your body does after that or anything. And so it was a really scary time for me in terms of like, is fitness over for me? And what I didn't know or expect at all was it like, I mean, it really felt like this, it like unearthed this whole gang of women that were like, oh, hell yeah, she's pregnant. Oh my God, I've had babies. Like, there's gonna be this woman out there that we all look up to, and finally she's gonna have a baby, and we can't wait to watch. So then it was like, oh my God, I had no idea. It was crazy. All the like sponsorship stuff, it did slow down. Like certainly bodybuilding.com wasn't hiring me to be in their workout videos when I was 8 months pregnant or anything, but it still kept me on the team. But it was like, okay, when you're done with that baby, we can't wait to start shooting again. Obviously I wasn't competing anymore, but it was, I mean, it was unreal. And it was that year. I was 8 months pregnant when I launched Jessie's Girls.
Yeah.
And I realized, and I was dabbling in like competition coaching and stuff back then, really just for local girls here in Reno, because there wasn't a resource for anybody back then if you wanted to do figure or bikini or anything like that. So on the side, I would help them get to their shows and things like that. And I knew that I was like, that was not my jam. I did not want to do that for a living. And then when like that whole gang of like fit moms showed up that wanted to be fit but they were moms, I was just like, what if I wrote a couple books about, my programming and just wrote some workouts. I know right now while I'm pregnant and once I have this baby, I'm never going to like travel around and coach people. Like, how do I reach all of these women around the world and coach them without, helping people tan their butts backstage at a fitness competition? And so, I mean, I wrote those books and just, I wrote the first 2 Jessie's Girls training programs and threw them up on a website. And there was, Instagram and stuff wasn't a thing. So all I had was a Facebook page and a website, and that's really all you needed. And I put that stuff up, and that was the beginning of my business. That was the birth of Jessie's Girls. And then my first baby was born a month later, and I just haven't stopped.
It's really unique, and it's really, you can tell how passionate you are about it, right? Yeah. You can tell because it's really coming from the heart, right? And that's kind of one of the things that, leading and inspiring and coming from the heart from you is one of those unique things. You can just tell. Right. Yeah. And it's nice because like you know that you're fulfilled, but you know that you're doing the right thing. And people who interact with you or talk with you or who get to be coached by you, they get that as well, So do you think that, I mean, it gave birth to Jessie's Girls, right? But leading up to your second baby, what were some of the adversities you faced? What have been some of like the challenges that have like life kicks you and you got to kick back? Like, what has that kind of been like for you?
In terms of my business?
Yeah. In terms of business, or in terms of like, okay, you have a baby, your body changes, you step back into that fitness space. What did you, how did you take care of your body and continue to do that? And not kind of slip into this different identity? Or was it that time you fell into the different identity and really found like what drove your
I think more? For me, definitely the latter. I mean, I had a fit pregnancy with my first baby. And by fit pregnancy, I meant I just kept lifting weights and I wasn't dieting or anything, but I kept lifting weights. I kept staying active, and I was like, holy shit, like I'm still fit, and this is so fun, and I'm going to share it with everybody that wants to witness it. And I had Sammy, and obviously healed from pregnancy and birth and everything. And I don't know, within, the next few months when I felt ready, I started moving again and just started the process of getting fit again. Or, just getting back to, what I wanted and what the body that I felt comfortable in and proud of. And I just was there. I mean, I didn't really have any sort of tough times or how do I get back to this? And I think it's really the underlying foundation and theme of this whole entire Jessie's Girls business is balance. I mean, and that's why I'm still here. That's why, that the Jessie's Girls fitness programs and the Jessie's Girls lifestyle, it follows that whole journey that I've been on. I mean, it's give yourself grace. I stayed fit during pregnancy. I just I just stayed balanced there. I didn't say sweats on and started eating for 3. I just kept doing what I was doing, and it was all very normal, and I didn't go to this extreme or go to this extreme. I just kind of kept doing what I was doing. And then after I gave birth, I just kept doing what I was doing. And I just have stayed that way. And I've stayed very open and vulnerable and real with everybody the whole time. I mean, I started in the fitness industry when I was like 27 and I'm 41. And I mean, I'm going to keep going until nobody wants to watch me anymore. I love this. And I will say that because it is with balance that I do it. And it's totally doable. If you're not running hot on this side or running hot on this side, just keep freaking going. Just do the thing. Go get your workouts in.
You heard it. Everyone, work out today. Get off the podcast stuff when we're done. Go work out. Oh, I love it. It's and it's not like it's just easy. You know what I mean? Like, I think some people could walk away from this and be like, oh, she does it easy. And it's like, no, we all choose our hard, right? It's hard to have a routine and it's hard to be consistent, but it's a little easier than being inconsistent. It's easier to prioritize, activity, whatever that kind of activity looks like, rather than feeling like shit all the time, right? And so it's kind of like choose your heart, right?
Absolutely. It's one of my favorite things to say, because it's hard to be hungry and to go do cardio twice a day and to feel like shit and to not sleep well and to fight with your spouse because you're hungry and miserable. That's really hard. And so is measuring out some food or tracking it and following a fitness program and staying consistent with it. That's hard too, but you choose which hard you want. And
one makes you feel good.
Yeah.
One makes you not feel good.
Yeah.
So
None of it's easy.
Sorry, what'd you say?
I just said none of it's easy.
Agreed. With Jessie's Girls, how did the pandemic affect you? And I think you moved maybe in the beginning before the pandemic started, if my timeline's correct, or was it?
I moved in November of 2020, so it was kind of like in the guts of it.
Yeah.
Like a little bit, not at the end, because I mean, does it ever end? But definitely at the end of 2020, when people finally would talk to you again and things were okay. And I think things were more open in Phoenix than they were here in Reno at the time. And so, anyway.
Yeah. Well, that's an interesting thing too. Everywhere was a little bit different, right? So Jessie's Girls is online. So was it really a lot of any change, or was it, did you face kind of adversities with that? Or did you see people coming to you more so because it was they didn't know what to do and their gym was closed?
Yeah. So a little bit of both. So, I mean, my business has always been online since the very beginning of it. So it's kind of and I have social anxiety. So I was born for that situation.
I love the intuition.
I was I got this, guys. I don't have to go anywhere and see anybody. I don't have to travel to fitness expos anymore. I can just keep running my business.
I don't even have pants on right now.
But the one thing that I did have to shift on really fast and really hard was all of my Jessie's Girls programs were gym based. So you purchased a program and you took your little butt to the gym. I had one program that was called the Home Edition, and you could do that from home, but everything else. So I couldn't run my business with just one option, to purchase. And so very quickly that year, I developed a few other programs. Body Weight Beast was the first one, because that one was like, nobody's even going to the store to buy. Nobody will even open a package if it arrives on your front porch with dumbbells in it. So it had to be like nothing, right? So I came out with a program called Body Weight Beast, just so people had something, put a bunch of free workouts and things like that online, blogs and things like that on my website. And then a few other programs, like a JG40 program, which was like 3 days a week and gave people gym and home options. And now that, and a few other programs that were, you didn't have to go to the gym for. And it really set the tone for the future of the business. Now, every time I launch a Jessie's Girls program, it's launched with a gym version and a home version. And it really helped me, I can't believe I didn't do that back then. I was just so like, results only happen in the gym,
I mean, a lot of people too, like A, weren't as motivated to work out at home. B, didn't really think it was possible. C, I mean, it's like in their living room, and some people don't like to do that, right? So I mean, it's not like it was like not there, but that has been a landscape that we've seen change too. Is like, it's okay to stay home, or hybrid programming.
Yeah.
That's really unique too. And for anyone out there, jessiefitness.com, right? Is where you can actually get these programs. So JESSIE fitness.com is where she has these programs that she's talking about. But like you're saying, it's unique how it's changing, how it's molded the kind of the future of fitness in a way. Right?
Yeah, I think it's changed it's changed forever. I mean, I don't think it's going back.
Yeah, it's interesting.
At least not in our lifetime.
Do you ever hit creative burnout or personal burnout?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, absolutely.
Break through that. How do you work through that?
I hire help. Okay. I mean, I'm stubborn and independent. And so I started the business. I started it by myself. It's a blessing and a curse that I can like do all of the things and do them great. I have a graphic design and web design background. And so I often will get caught up in like, I don't need anybody to do this. I can put this ebook together myself and update my website by myself. Oh yeah, I also forgot I need to film some content. And, I just end up doing, that's when I burn out, is when I do all that stuff on my own. And then I'm just like, I'm just fried. I go home, I'm a fried mom. And I realize, wow, like I need some help. It's fine to ask for help, and I need to find some great people to help me. And that's really the only thing I've ever done to alleviate that. I mean, you can't do all, just because you can doesn't mean that you should do all of the things by yourself.
I like that a lot.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's you have to learn that the hard way. You have to do it all by yourself and run into the wall and fall flat on your face and then be like, all right, I don't want to do this like this anymore.
Yeah. And I mentioned this earlier in our chat about me being a people pleaser. And that means you say yes to a lot of stuff too. And that's one thing that I think once I turned 40, I was kind of like, no. So my world has changed a lot, even in terms of like sponsorships and partnerships and companies that I work with and stuff too. Is I used to just, read the contract and sign it, not ask for anything else, because I was so honored to like be a sponsored athlete or to be on this team or that team. And now it's like, sure, send me your information and what you had in mind, and I'll butcher it up and send you it back. And if you don't like it, then bye. Oh man, Alex, it has made my life so much more beautiful. I mean, I used to spend more time doing content that I had to send off to other companies than I would doing. It just made no sense. And I was spending doing content for Jessie's Girls, for my own website and for my own stuff. And now if it is going to impact that negatively at all, me creating content and building Jessie's Girls and creating Jessie's Girls programs and stuff like that, then I say no, unless it's super worth it to me.
Yeah. I like that self-prioritization, right? And that regulation, and also honoring the boundaries that you set, right? one thing to set them, that's cool. You have the intention there, but then it's how do you honor that and continue to honor that in the face of others or other companies or the associations? And that's where it gets tough, right?
And it is hard to say no or to, you know, get a contract and say no to it, or to ask to negotiate it. It is hard. Maybe not for everybody, but it is certainly hard for me and a lot of other women. And man, it feels, the first time you edit a contract for exactly what you want and send it back and they agree to it, you're like, oh my God, was that easy?
Time just stopped.
10 years ago. Yeah, it's pretty cool. I mean, and it's just know your worth and know your value. I know that how much value I bring to a company. And so I know that going in. And so it's a beautiful place to be in. And like I said, I mean, it was, I had that in me, but didn't know how to stand up for myself in my 20s and 30s. But once you're 40, it's like.
So for the 20 and 30s, though, maybe just
40 and you'll be fine.
Give me some time. You'll get some, maybe gray hair.
Yeah, but I wish 40-year-old today me could, give this pep talk to 32-year-old me and just say, just edit the contract and tell them what you want. Because I could have done it back then, and the same thing would have happened. I mean, they would have worked with me. And so, and if they said no, then it's fine. You just move on. I said no a couple years ago. I said no to a contract. I didn't say no to a contract. I just set back what I wanted, and they said no to it. That they, not no to me, but just like, that's out of our budget. We can't do it. And I just said, thank you so much for the opportunity. All the best to you. Good luck. And even that message was like, wow, like there wasn't even like bad blood. I don't feel anxiety. I wished him all the best. I truly meant it. It just, if I would have said yes to that, I know that I would have been spending my time during my day pissed off that I was doing work for them and not, getting underpaid.
Well, and not honoring yourself, right? You don't honor yourself. You don't honor yourself.
I would just be mad at me, and I don't want to feel like that anymore.
Well, and then the big thing too is like that replicates itself in your work, right? That replicates in what you produce. Like even if somebody else doesn't know and they're like, this is the best thing ever, you're like, look at my face. I can tell I'm that. Like, I can see it. That's so What have been like some of the more memorable or your favorite contracts or like companies that you've worked with in the past?
Definitely bodybuilding.com. That was so much fun. What a fun period of time in my life. It was pre-kids. So me and that team, who so many of the people from team bodybuilding.com back then, I mean, they're still my closest friends today. I mean, we traveled the world together. It was so much fun, and we were changing the world. And I mean, without that and those workout videos and those photo shoots, I mean, I wouldn't be the content creator that I am today, just with all of that amazing professional practice that I had. And those times were really, really neat. I mean, we got paid, but barely. But just being on that team and having those life experiences and working with the company that it was at the time was just incredible. And then the company that I work with now, it's called Innoceps, and I'm a very loyal person. They were previously NLA for Her. I signed with them in 2011, I think. And they, NLA for Her, sold their company to a different company. And then the owners of NLA for Her that I had worked with for almost a decade started a new company, which is Innoceps, and I just like I stayed with them.
Wait.
So I mean, I've only had 2 companies my whole life, or my whole career, and I'm still with them, and not bodybuilding.com, but still with the same one supplement company, the same, and really it's the owners. And I mean, that's what you guys value too, and that's the morals and the values behind Swolverine as well. And it's so important. I mean, I'm not really following the company. It's the people behind it. And I don't care what the name of the next one they have is or whatever, as long as, they keep the same values and the same important things that go in, the important ingredients and work that goes into creating a really, really high quality supplement line that I feel comfortable recommending and using and talking about and sharing. That's what's the most important thing to me. I know so many people that just jumped supplement companies for paychecks and stuff like that. And I just won.
Well, and it's like terrible when too, you like have someone who's representing your company or you're representing a company and you have all this stuff in your cabinet and you're just like, I don't even use this. You can have it. Sure. I don't like it. They just give it to me for free and I have a bunch. And it's like, that's not good. You know what I mean? Like it happens so much. And I think that people don't stop to kind of have that thought. Like you're saying, like, do I align with this company? Why am I taking this? Do I even like the products? Like if I don't like the products, why would I recommend them? You know?
Yeah.
And it's just for that like kind of instant gratification, short-term reward. Like, oh, I got $20, you know what I mean? But it's like, no. What if you got like, a lot of value out of it. But rumor has it though, you might like our clean carbs product.
Well, what's funny about this whole situation with you, and I feel like we talked about this, or at least somebody when we first got in contact. So when you purchase a Jessie's Girls training program from jessiefitness.com, you get added into the private Jessie's Girls Facebook group. And that's been going on since 2014. And there's tens of thousands of women in that group. And we talk about all the things, right? So, and one of them is nutrition and supplements and stuff. And a lot of my early morning workout gals, or even late night workout gals that want to get their pre and post workout in, but don't want to wake up at 3 a.m. and like cut up a chicken breast and have some sweet potato and then sit there and go to, until it's like digested and then go to the gym at 4:00 in the morning. No, like absolutely. So some of them asked if there was like powdered carb supplements, and I started doing research, and I think is that the one with the sweet potato in it? That's a clean carbs product.
Yeah.
So I dropped that link in our private Facebook group for Jessie's Girls and was like, this one looks legit. I just ordered it off of Amazon, and this is years ago or whatever, maybe 2 years ago or something, and ordered it, started taking it myself. It's in my cabinet at home. We moved back here from Phoenix in 2020, and I'm like driving down the street and I just go like, oh, dude, like your leg was a
carb place.
And I'm like, oh my God, that's that sweet potato carb powder that we all like. Reno's rad, dude. This is crazy. And so, I don't know a lot, but that was the instant connection. I mean, I'm certainly not just going to be on a random ass podcast with random ass people, so love your products. Love that product. I recommend it. And you're in Reno, so it's great.
No, it's just like nice.
Like I was alone when I was in the car and I drove by, but I was just like, "Oh, Swolverine, Reno."
What the heck?
Anyway, yes, I do love it. I do love it a lot, and we all use it.
That's so funny. Well, good. I'm glad.
I need an affiliate link for that shit.
I know, right? Well, we'll get that there. I'll just send you some too. Yeah, it's fun though. I mean, clean carbs, it is unique, right? And it's so it's sweet potato, yam, oat, and blueberry. For anyone who doesn't know, it is just a pure carbohydrate, slow, medium, and fast digesting carbs. Like you're saying, like morning workouts, afternoon workouts. Just a nice supplement in there. You can do as a post workout. You can do as a meal replacement. I put mine in yogurt. I also bake with it. Walter, the co-founder of Swolverine here, likes to make fried chicken with it.
Ooh, interesting. But it would work. I can see how that would work. Yeah.
Yeah, it's insane. Awesome. He came in one day and he's like, guess what I did? And I was like, I don't know if I want to know. And he's like, I made fried chicken. And I was like,
funny. Well, I'll have to come in and meet you guys in person and get a little tour.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yes, yes, absolutely. And then for the people who like are familiar with Swolverine, you guys know or may not know, we do have a post-workout coming out on Black Friday, which is also pretty similar in the terms of it being like a real food supplement. So it's pea starch, pea protein, isolate, pomegranate, papaya, pineapple. So some really cool takes on carbs that are a little bit faster. So that's going to be coming out. But Jessie, you are amazing. For anyone who's out there, you need to go follow her. Her handle is at JESSIE_. Here we go. HILGENBERG. So like she said to me ahead of time, it's just how it sounds. Hilgenberg.
Yep.
Make sure to check out Jessie's Girls, jessiefitness.com. I guess before we go, the only other kind of thing that's kind of popping around in my head is like food indulgence. So now we're on the topic of food. Do you have like favorite foods? I mean, and you said it was really like basic in the house.
Yeah.
But like, what's your splurge? What's your like go-to? Are you sweet tooth, savory?
Chocolate and wine.
Oh my gosh, I love it. Are you like red wine, white wine?
Do anything with a bottle of wine and a little bit of chocolate. I love a good charcuterie board. Yeah. I mean, I love making them too. I even make them for like my kids with like popcorn and Cheez-Its and stuff and nuggies. And I love it. It's so fun. And it's such probably because I'm so creative or something, I just love like putting those together. But yeah. Wine and chocolate. I don't need cake. I don't need ice cream. I'll eat that stuff, but I don't crave it. I come home and if Alex has a little chocolate bar and not like candy bar, but just like some dark chocolate squares and a bottle of wine, I'm like,
my man.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
But that's it. Yeah. It's pretty simple.
Well, Jessie, thank you so much for coming on the podcast here, the Swole Friends podcast. Jessie, make sure to follow her on Instagram, visit the website, check out one of those programs. And when you do get one of those programs, you get that access to that Facebook group. Boys, I'm sorry, it is a girls club only, right? Is that true? That's true, right?
It is true. I mean, there's lots of Jessie's dudes out there following the programs, but the Jessie's Girls Facebook group is a very safe place for women to share their journeys and ask questions and post pictures and stuff. And we'll definitely leave it that way.
I love that. Perfect. Yeah. Couple comments coming in here before we go. Rita, relate to her regarding workout motivation. Been a personal trainer for 20 years. That's awesome. 7 clients a day, 2 teenagers, husband, life. Many times you don't feel like working out and definitely need a trainer. So seems like that's kind of been a cool thing too.
Yeah.
Get a trainer, ask for help. It's not a big deal. You know what I mean? It's hard, especially when you are that professional. And like Jessie, you can speak to that a little bit more, but we all need a little guidance and we all need to take some of that pressure off our own shoulders.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yep.
And then Carrie, thank you for coming in. Carrie, we appreciate having you here. Alrighty, you guys, we will post this on YouTube. So thank you for watching. We'll have it on Facebook. Subscribe to the Swole Friends podcast. We are available on Spotify, Twitch, Apple Podcasts. We got YouTube every Thursday or sometimes on Tuesdays whenever our podcast guests are available. Jessie, thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. It was such a joy to talk to you. Thank you for everybody that listened. Yeah, thanks. It was an honor to be here.
Absolutely. We'll go grab a Jessie Girls program, some clean carbs, and you guys, we will talk to you next time.